What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. It is a late night update here on Friday night. The devs have just put out another content roadmap, and I wanted to go through it because there is a ton to cover and a lot of great news. So let's jump right into it. This is actually my second time recording this. I recorded a whole long thing, and you'll see how long it was and how frustrating this is going to be because I didn't have my mic turned on. So great, it's on now. You're hearing me talk. So let's get into this, and I will maybe make it a little bit shorter than my last run, but we'll see. I had a good test run, go through it. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're putting out content almost every other day, and we're getting you content updates like these, all the dev updates and the patch notes and all that. So hit that sub button. If we get to 1,000, maybe we'll do a giveaway. Let's try it out. That's not a promise. We gotta get to 1,000 first, but let's try to get there. So okay, let's get into the update here, the roadmap. If you haven't seen my last video, they talked a lot about different fielding changes, and their roadmap number 1 was a lot shorter and quicker than this one. This one is extensive. There's some great updates. So again, let's get into it. Smarter fielding and base coverage. So here is basically when you're playing the game and you're throwing the ball around the infield and running to different bases and covering different things, the AI computer is now moving around you and flowing a little bit better how they would in an actual baseball game, right? So fielders react to you, not just the ball. Nobody leaves a base uncovered. Positioning resets cleanly. Coverage has limits by design. Let's go quick look through everything that they post here. So base coverage, right? Ernie, the third baseman, has the ball. He's going to run away, or he's going to run to the base. The Weber sister will run off the base, and then, that's what's happening, right? When you approach the base, they get away from you. Nearby fielder steps in. So here we go. I believe we have our first baseman with the ball here. Yep, first baseman has it. They run away. The closest player, the pitcher, is now going to go cover first. And then when you come back to the base, I think that's in the next one. When you come back to the base, the pitcher will run away. Again, no base left uncovered. Great updates here. All just logical baseball style updates to the computer and the AI helping you out while fielding. Let's see here. Baseman reclaims bag after a throw. So here, the first baseman has the ball, throws it to first. Now watch, he covers first again. The pitcher goes back to the pitcher's mound. Again, all great AI logic updates there. It's what we kind of expect. That's great. And then let's just keep moving on. So we're planning to clean up a number of fielding and base running behaviors that could make certain plays feel unfair and just played strange. Force outs not being called correctly, runners doing it, the infamous forward and backward dance routine, great. Infield flies and fielding selection cursor behaving differently depending on which direction you approached a player. All great fielding updates. Love to see it. They're putting these things out. They're listening to us, and they're making smart decisions, I think. These all sound smart. Sprinting getting a stat-driven overhaul. So, okay, cool. Sprinting will no longer be a one-size-fits-all. It will now be an extension of each kid's personality and stats. Every kid will have their own sprint stamina amount, sprint stamina speed, sprint stamina burn rate, and in other words, how far and fast a kid can push themselves depends on who they are. So we should see, the Kenny Kawaguchis and the Pete Wheelers probably have more of a sprint stamina speed and a stamina amount versus maybe like a Dimitri who might not have as much stamina, right? Or burn it faster. They'll get tired faster. So again, fine-tuning, balancing these players as they're coming and as they're approaching the game. We're also softening the exhaustion curve. Kids will become exhausted at 0% stamina instead of the old 10 to 15% cutoff. And the movement speed penalty will be reduced from negative 30% to negative 10%. Running out of gas should feel like a consequence and not a punishment. Sounds good. That sounds like a good update to me. It was tiring trying to steal second and then having a hit go and you got thrown out because you were completely gassed, right? Or even just trying to sprint, or like they made a diving catch and you had to sprint back to the base to not get doubled up, and now you're screwed because the next play you've lost all your stamina. So love to see that. That'll be interesting to see how that plays and how this is tuned for multiplayer. I think single player this is fine because like there's not a big punishment for using all your stamina. But multiplayer there might need to be some even more tuning here, depending on what the meta might be, come multiplayer time. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if they have to make more updates, and we'll just get into it. So, let's see here. Okay, sprint stats, adding more personality. Great. Look at all. Okay, this is super nerdy stuff here. I don't even know what's happening here. I'm sure some nerd in the comments can enlighten us all. But it does look like they have all these stats by game mode here. So we got our wiffle ball and we got our baseball stats here, and they're different ranges of when they will start burning and losing stamina, right? So all great stuff. Decision tuning, all this stuff, right? This leads me into a whole different conversation that I want to quick interrupt the update for. Is there's a lot of just weird negativity and weird pessimism online in the Steam reviews and the comments and Discord of like, God, I hope they update the game. God, I hope they make this change, or wow, how have the devs fixed this or figured this out? We gotta remember that this game is 2 weeks old. There is no doubt that they had all these plans in place to fine-tune this game, right? Think of your Maddens, think of your college footballs, think of your MLB The Shows. Those devs in each of the respective studios are 100% going into launch day knowing that whatever they're putting out is not the final product, right? They have to tune these things. They have to. Especially a studio like MegaCat, where maybe they have like a couple dozen playtesters, maybe, I don't know that for sure, maybe they do, maybe they have more, but even a couple dozen, that is nothing compared to the amount of people that are playing the game now, right? There's thousands playing the game. There's nerds like me that are going through and doing frame by frame analysis on speed and on different things like that they're not doing that type of testing in-house. They're making sure the game works and is playable to get out, right? They have production timelines they need to hit. They have advertising requirements that are going live. Like there's things like this. There's so much in motion that, you know, pushing a launch back is not as simple as, oh, we're just gonna not press go live until this day instead because we're not ready, right? No, the wheels are in motion. There's so many different things. Marketing train has left the building. I mean, think of like this Shopify pop-up that just happened, right? That had been planned probably for upwards of almost a half a year, right? Like, of course they're going to launch the game, and if it's not in the most beautiful, perfect scenario or the beautiful fine-tuning balanced yet, it's like we all got to take a step back. We all got to just keep in mind that this is like an evolving project, and they've said that. They have been very vocal about that. They've been very transparent about that, which is why I'm so excited and so optimistic about the game, is because the devs have been so transparent and they're talking to us, and Lindsay, the CEO, is talking to us about it. It's all good news. This is all good stuff, right? These roadmaps that they're putting out, great stuff, great insight, great looks into how they're approaching this and seeing our feedback, taking it to heart and making changes as fast as possible. We'll even see it now that they have they made a change within a couple days or so, or like a couple weeks from feedback coming in. So that's great. It's quick turnarounds, but we gotta stop with this like, man, why is it not working this way? Why is this broken? Why is that? It's like, yeah, it was bound to be broken, right? They're working towards the console release. They're working towards all these updates. They're working towards online multiplayer. You can complain and say, sure, it should have been there at launch, but like, why, right? There's no pre-established game that's out there right now that from the Backyard Studios in this capacity that we had those expectations. Sure, they told us about it early, but they've been upfront and told us that it's not coming too, right? They've been very upfront about everything. So all that is to say, this little rant is, I'm going to end this rant, but we just, as a community right now, just keep sending feedback, keep sending, bugs, but be constructive about it, because they're listening. They're not like, this is not doom and gloom. This is not a doom and gloom scenario here. This is not doomsday. There are far worse studios out there. There are far worse games out there for far more money. So we're good. We're okay. We're okay. This is all going to be fine. This is very early in the game's life, okay? This is going to be fine. They're going to keep moving on. They just announced an animated series where, I mean, they more or less are confirming all of the sport games are coming out, right? I mean, they have the Backyard Universe, the what do they call it? The Backyardiverse or something, or it's like they have long-term goals, they have long-term visions for this game and this franchise. it will not end in Backyard Baseball 2026 in August, a month after it's released, right? No way. There's no way. There's too much involved in this. So everyone relax. The game will be fine. The updates are coming out quickly. They've made so many patches already. Let's just all take a breather and just enjoy what we have. And if you're bored with it already, that's okay. That's okay. Hit that subscribe button. Follow me. You'll learn when it comes out, when the updates you want come out, right? So it's okay. But we don't need to be all doom and gloom about the game. We're all right. We're all right. This is a great game. We should be very excited of where Backyard is and where it is going, because the future is looking bright for this game in this series. So stay in that positive mindset, right? Drop a comment below on what you love about the game. How about that? Let's get that kind of engagement instead of they should be fixing this, right? So good stuff. Good stuff. Let's get back to it. There's probably got another half hour here. So let's get through this. So getting back to the stamina meter, let's check it out on Dante here. You kind of saw a little tease of that. So there he is. He's running. Cool. Looks good, right? It'll be longer for players that have more stamina. It'll be shorter for players that don't, as I said above. So that looks good. We're also separating sliding from stamina entirely. So that's interesting. Sliding will no longer drain stamina. Instead, it will be a per-use resource that resets as soon as you touch a base, with a slide distance determined by a kid's height and speed stats. That also goes in for defense. So the taller you are, like an Ernie Steele, will have a longer slide. So you could probably sneak in there a little bit easier than a Luann Louis, who is short and will have to slide closer to the base. Okay? Swing spots. This is an interesting one. They're adding the new modern mode and the classic option, so you can pick the style that feels right for your game. Bringing both options to life meant reworking more than just what they had. They had to refine shadows and camera updates and visual timing cues to make every swing feel more intuitive. A lot of work goes into this. Again, it's not like, hey, Des, why haven't you done this? There's a lot of hands that go on this, right? So very interesting. Fixing readability issues bugging us. The strike zone UI used to sit on top of the ball once across the zone. Now the ball renders on top of the zone and passes through the strike zone, making it easier to track the pitch at the moment of truth. Okay, I might just be dumb and honestly can't read that well, but like, I don't really know what this means. We'll have to probably see that in game. Maybe someone in the comments could describe that to me and explain it. Strike zone UI modern mode. Cool. So this looks kind of like what we have already, right, with our little reticle. So that's cool. That looks good. They're just refining it, making it feel better. That's fine. This will be interesting, but let's go to the next one real quick. Classic mode. So the old classic baseball bat, right? Just like the old games, and kind of a wider zone for where the ball might be in the zone. Now this is interesting, and this is something that I'm gonna speculate. This is speculation right here. But this classic mode seems more of a beginner-friendly batting style, right? Where something like this might be more for the competitive players that might be a little bit more advanced in the game. So I might have that completely backwards, but that's just kind of how I feel just watching some of this gameplay and knowing how specific this batting reticle is, right? From what I've seen and putting 100 hours in this game and batting as much as I have, it feels like everything matters, right? So if you swing, if you're trying to locate the ball and you come on top of the ball, if you swing on top of the ball, you're going to ground it. You're going to hit it in the ground. If you swing under it, you're going to pop it up, right? Timing has a lot to do with it too, depending on if you hit it to left and right field. If you're early, it'll go left. If you're late, you'll go right. Physics based, right? This is very cool stuff, and it's very very deep. Like it's not just as simple as hit click and you're gonna hit the ball in a pre-animation or predetermined animation. A lot of it has to do with your timing, where your mouse and reticle were at time of impact, all that kind of stuff. So very interesting to see how this all plays out in the long run, and how something like this mode, if that's easier, if that's harder, we'll have to wait and see in game. Every kid's got personality. Aggression, attention, arm strength, kid's eye, pitching proficiency. Okay, so they're making updates to all the secret hidden stats that are behind the scenes. And again, I said this in my last video going over the last or the roadmap part 1, but this is all just fancy talk for their fine-tuning the game. Like I was just ranting about, they are fine-tuning about
They are fine
tuning. I just got scared. I don't know what that sound effect was. I don't know if you saw that jump, but they're fine tuning the game, right? They're fine tuning everything. This is a dance that we're gonna have to play and take part in for a long time after release. It's not gonna be a quick, let's move some levers around and everything's going to be perfect. They're going to be having to adjust these as they go. They might overcorrect, and then the community will push back and say we need to get a little bit closer to what it was originally. Who knows, right? So again, all these fun little stats that are in the game, but they're just making it more apparent now in the game as well. And fixing those bugs. The stats are there, and it's noticeable, right? We did a video on the speed, and we're seeing some slower players running just as fast as like average to fast players. So they need to fix that. They do need to fix that. I'm not saying they don't, but or that everything's perfect, I should say. But it's just a tuning battle. It's tuning. They'll get there. Sharpening the interface with UI and menu improvements. Cool. Watch your achievements. Okay, cool. 50 or 500 home runs with 55 corn dogs, 55 fries, 55 Slurpees. Okay, cool. Progress bars are great. Let's hope that they actually update the record book as well, because I think there's still a bug that it's not tracking everything exactly how you're expecting it to. So, good stuff. UI updates. Let's see here. Save your settings. Okay, yes, this one. Save changes, right? Adding this F button here. Before, you would have to click the escape or back button to get out of these menus, and you'd always kind of be like, oh, is it going to save? And then it would have the little save your changes. Yes, okay, let's back out then. Now you can instantly save your changes from the screen. Great UI change. Good stuff. I actually put this in as one of my suggestions to their bug system, so glad to see this one's getting changed. That's great. See the ball in sandy flats. Pitching article is getting a visibility pass so it reads clearly against a busy or bright stadium backgrounds. That's great. I personally never had an issue with this, but I'm glad that they're helping out the people that might have had issues. Know your difficulty at a glance. We're adding a difficulty indicator to the team dugout and pause menu. If you've stepped away for a while or just forgot what you picked, you'll always have a quick reminder. So in league play, you can always remind yourself, okay, this is Playground Pro. It'll also be cool for streamers and stuff like that, so we can all check as a chat to make sure that they are playing on the hardest difficulty if they're saying they are. Kind of fun. Know whether you're up in the mound. We're adding a clear CPU versus player indicators during the pitching phase, so it's obvious at a glance whether you are the one pitching or the one at the plate. Okay, so P1, batting, you're the player, the computer's pitching. That's great. This is the very first pitch of the game. We can see we're in the top of the first inning. No balls, no strikes. So this is what you will see at first glance. Now, this is a suggestion. I don't know if this fix or update is accounting for this or not, but hear me out on this one, right? You are scrolling through TikTok, you are scrolling through YouTube or clicking through YouTube videos, and you come across a live, right? And I mean, we saw that a perfect example is the actual backyard streams, okay? You join in on the streams, Lindsay and Cody are playing, you immediately join in a middle of a pitching duel, right? This screen is here without the indicators. You have no idea if Lindsay is player 1, if Cody's player 2, who is who, right? You don't know. When you scroll into someone's stream, typically they will be playing multiplayer by themselves, so they won't be local multiplayer. So you'll at least know who player 1 is, right? You'll at least know that. So having some sort of indicator that when someone scrolls in and you get 3 to 5 seconds of them watching, right? They need to understand who the person playing is on the game. So in this example, player 1 would be batting. You scroll into my stream, I'm player 1, you see I'm batting. You see the inning, right? That's very clear. It's the first inning, it's early in the game. So you can make that decision to keep watching based on the narrative that's already there, right? So, oh, this isn't the first pitch because look, someone's on base. Anyways, got distracted there. Basically what I'm trying to get at there is like stories are being built in the game at every moment, right? You could be in the bottom of the third inning and you're only playing a 3-inning game, and as you just scroll through and you see that on your screen, you as a viewer want to know the situation immediately. And as the game is currently, especially as these kids all have their fun, unique outfits, and there's no real like team indicator here, it's hard to tell. It's hard to get into the story of the game within a few seconds. Think of like a Fortnite, right? If you scroll into someone playing Fortnite, you see if they're alive or not, and you can immediately see how many players are left in game, where the circle is based on the map. You kind of get a feel for what you are joining into within a few seconds of seeing it. I would say you want the same thing, especially as the longevity of this game goes on and more people are playing it, streaming it and videoing, making content around it. You want that indicator so someone joining can understand the game and what's happening at a glance. So I think this is an attempt or a start at that. I mean, just picture now this is P2 instead of CPU for multiplayer. When that comes out, online multiplayer, it's a start. If it's intended for that, that's a great start. I think it could go a little bit further, maybe even in the scoreboard down here or something, or like indicator up here in the UI, something to tell who the person on screen playing is controlling. So we'll see that, and we'll see if this is toggleable too, if you can turn this on or off. They say, okay, none of these are flashy on their own, but together they make a big, great update. And again, keep the feedback coming. It's what's shaping the list. It's what's shaping the updates. Great stuff. Okay, reading the picture. Clear proficiency tells. Okay, so basically all of this, I'm going to do a TLDR for this, is if a pitcher is more confident with a certain pitch, they are changing the way that it is indicated to the user, right? So if you are good at throwing the fastballs, they will have a more aggressive yes or no, or if they're not as good, they'll have a more subtle no, right? So the ball gives it away. There'll be a glow if you have a good pitch. The confidence shows in the windup. You'll hear it too. They're adding noise and audio cues. And then for the power-up pitches, right? If you are proficient in the power-up pitches, I know Ahmed Khan, I think, has a 100 rating in the crazy ball, right? In the crazy pitch. There is going to be something extra for the rare cases where a power-up pitch is both powerful and highly proficient. So we'll have to wait and see what that means as we get through this. Okay, spoiler, I did watch this before. I have no idea what this visual is telling us. It's supposed to be showing us that the improvement to visual tells for the pitcher. Clinky doesn't do anything, so I'm not really sure. Maybe it's a celebration there. I don't know. Okay, anyways, we'll keep moving. This is still an early exploration phase. They haven't really gone too deep into this yet, so it may evolve before they actually release it to the game. Okay, another good update, a new quality of life update, and might be telling a little bit of what's happening. And maybe what it could mean for the future as well. So they have 17,000 lines of dialogue in the game, right? That's a crazy amount. But I mean, you're playing so often, only so many things happen. You are bound to hear the same line, and my God, I am absolutely one of you guys who have heard the same line like 1,000 times. So this is great. They're recording brand new dialogue to bring even more variety, depth, and personality to every trip to the ballpark. That's a big W. We love to see that. We've already written the next batch of lines with recording scheduled for the upcoming sprint. Cool, or for the coming sprint. We're excited to spotlight two of the All-Stars, helping them bring to life. Okay, Dolores Rogers is coming back. She was in 01, and she's had an awesome career. She's Bowser Jr. too. That's sick. Along with many more, she's back in the recording booth this weekend. Cool, fun. Delivering the variety, depth, and fresh audio moments fans have been asking for. Okay, cool. So I don't know exactly what we're asking for, but she's going to be recording some more audio lines. Love to see it. Great. Andrea Dryden, the voice of Sunny Day, is also recording hundreds of new lines that expand league play, deepen the world building, and bring even more personality to key baseball moments. Awesome. Love it. More voice lines, the better. The more variety, the better. The more they can just say randomize, and they have like 12 different voice lines instead of 4. That's awesome. That, you know, it will significantly impact the game. We love that. Let's see here. Can't wait to hear what they're cooking up. Keep an ear out for these new lines as they make their way into the game. Something that I'm taking away from this, pretty much the ease of getting Sunny back in the studio. I don't know when they originally recorded their first batch of lines, but I mean, who is the person that has the unique voice lines for every batter that comes to bat, right? Vinny doesn't give color. Vinny is the color commentary guy. Sonny's the play-by-play. Sonny's the one saying, now stepping up to bat, Angelo Del Vecchio, and then Vinny gives kind of a, this kid does this. Also, something important to note with that whole thing that I just went on, Vinny is Lindsay. So if they need more Vinny lines, Lindsay seems like a pretty easy person to get into the studio and record them. All that's to say, as more DLC comes and they need new voice lines, are they getting Sonny back to record new voice lines for new DLC characters? I don't know. We don't know. They might be using this as a guise to get her back in. We'll have to wait and find out. That's speculation. We don't really know. Quality of life, misophonia toggle. Okay, if I hadn't have already gone through this entire article recording with no audio, you would have seen me struggle through this one and not understand what this was. Very cool update. Love that they're doing this stuff. It's a real condition where certain sounds trigger intense reactions, and accessibility improvements like this matter to the dev team and to the game. That's awesome. Leave a comment below if you knew what this was before this article. I think a big takeaway here is, first of all, love that they're making a change like this. This is something so niche and something so minor to the majority of players that won't ever have to deal with this, but very cool that they are making updates like this. And they even say, like, this is something that was requested by a fan, and it skipped the line, right? Like, it didn't have to wait for all these other features to be complete and go live before we got to this one, which again just seems like a great sign that they have people that they can just throw on these smaller. I mean, come on, it's not. It has to be a couple lines of code that they're changing, and it looks like it's all in Unity here. Like, that's great that they can take something like this and make a quick update and get it out there instead of having it bog down the bug list and moving it in their Kanban board and having to go through processes and approvals and all that garbage. It's like, no, they can just do this. So it's a good sign. As more feedback comes in like that, I'm sure they can jump the line and skip some other things too if it's important to their community and the game players. So that's great. Good stuff there. Glad that they're making fixes for no chewing. Custom and generic kids. Heads and expressions. Okay, so I'm gonna jump all through this, right? They are overhauling the custom kids and the generic kids in league play. So they're adding more heads and expressions, hair accessories. They're refining the bodies, the proportion sync. There are so many different things that they're doing to the custom kids here. And it's not as simple as just like, let's click a couple buttons and it'll all work, right? They have to like re-rig a lot of these kids and reshape how their shoulders work and how across all the different body types. So it's not just like a couple button presses and they're done. And that's why it's like, again, it's the frustration is like aimed at the wrong thing here, from players and community members on Steam and all that. It's like, man, there's a lot of things that need to happen for things like this to be fixed. So it's cool to see that they're making changes. It's cool to see that they care enough to make changes, and these are updates, right? These are updates. They have accessories coming, right? A new beanie, a new pinwheel. These are not microtransaction gated, right? At least that we can tell. I'll put a little asterisk by that and revisit that if it is. I doubt it is. There's no way that this is. They would be. I truly believe they'd be upfront with this. That they would say that it's, you'd have to pay for something like this. But they made it very clear, no microtransactions, right? So free content. They're putting this out. They're making updates. They care. They care about the players. They care about the game. They want this to succeed. So I love that. Love these changes. They're also adding a hat color tinting and eye color customization. Those are coming. They're in the works. Awesome. More customization, the better. Let's keep adding to this. Let's keep it going. I think I skipped over it a little bit, but more variety to generic kids. We're super excited to share that we're increasing the number of generic kid variants to keep league play feeling fresh. Fewer repeated faces and much more diverse lineups every time you take the field. Great. Keep that coming. Let's go. Fielding and throwing, what's next? Let me just... Oh, God, yeah, okay. The stronger arms and the flatter throw arc. I was going to do a whole video on this. I actually started testing this morning, believe it or not, but it was just all over the board. I couldn't really understand what to make of it. So I'm going to hold on that video before I put anything out until this update goes live, because this is needed. This is very needed, right? I think everyone who's played knows that turning a double play is virtually impossible in this game if you're going to do it the traditional way. If a grounder is hit to the shortstop and you need to throw it to second base and then throw it to first, that first throw to second base is going to the moon. They don't throw it straight to second base. They throw it as high up as physically possible, and then 10 seconds later it comes down to second, and you barely get the lead runner out. So this is very important. I think that change will make a lot of people happy. Hopefully they do it in a good way. That is a tough balancing act there. You don't want to make it too fast where every single grounder you can't beat it out running to first. But like also maybe you should, because use stamina and sprint to get to first to beat out double plays. I digress. They need to change this. I'm interested to see what the change will be. And then once we get those in the game, we will go in and test how players are throwing the ball. Tighter throw and catch responsiveness, more forgiving base targeting, errors with personality. I want to quick highlight this one. They're expanding the variety of fielding mistakes. They're going to be adding animations based on kids and how they mess up in the game. So good stuff. Cool updates there. That will take time to come. It'll take time to tune, as they say. But we love to see that they're making those updates. Cleaner location throws, okay. More sprint and stamina tuning, less bouncy walls, smarter fielder selection, faster settling ground-ups. Okay. All tuning. Again, this is just a big tuning stuff. They're figuring all this stuff out. They've got the hands in thousands of players, or they've got the game in thousands of players' hands. This is what you'd expect. Love to see it. Quick overview of everything that they're doing. We've gone through this, so I won't beat it up again. The last note that I will say, though, is this is all active work. This is not the wish list. This is not the, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we could do this? No, this is what they are currently working on. We have examples above. We have a lot of great internal talk and communication from the dev team to the community. This is what we want to see. This is optimistic, guys. We should be very optimistic about where the game is headed, where we currently are. And if you need to take a break, if you need to get out, if you're bored right now, hit that subscribe button. I'll talk to you and tell you when you should come back because of updates that are coming live. We make videos all the time. We're going over all these dev updates and these patch notes and things. So, if you need to take a break, go ahead, but just hit that subscribe button on your way out so you can know when to come back. So yeah, I mean, again, we should be optimistic. I'm not trying to glaze them, there are problems with this game. I'm not saying that it's a perfect game and we should all just bow down right now, right? There are problems, there are annoyances, there are a lot of bugs. That is not my argument. The argument here is we are in good hands. We should be patient. Every single thing that they have indicated to us is that they care and that they care about our feedback, and so we should just keep giving it just in a constructive way. You can have your feelings on if the $40 is worth it. I think it absolutely is worth it, just based on their commitment to us alone. I mean, they haven't given us a reason to doubt them yet. I don't think they will, as of now, right? Like, they are committed. They basically more or less confirmed through that animated series that they just announced that, I mean, we're stretching a little bit here, but I don't think it's too far out of the realm of possibility. They're basically confirming all of the sports are coming to a game format, right? I mean, look at all the graphics, right? They have the football, the soccer, baseball, and basketball, right? The only one that's missing is hockey, which please bring hockey back. Please bring hockey. I love hockey, so bring hockey back, please. But they more or less confirmed those other 3 sports are coming, right? I mean, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And they want this game to succeed. They're not throwing this one off to the dust. It's not going to be dead by August. They're going to keep updating it. They're going to keep releasing new patches. This is a long-term game. So buckle up for the ride. Be patient. It might get a little slow, But man, once they start hitting their stride with online play, especially once that comes out, man, will you see the content for this game. So let's keep positive. Drop a comment. If I said this already, do it again. Drop a positive comment in the section below, in the comments below, saying what you like about the game, because I think we're all having fun. But we'll just have to keep on keeping on here. So if you haven't already, hit that subscriber button. We're inching closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. If you made it this far already, I mean, you're probably 20 minutes in at this point. I don't even know how long this update was. So hit that subscriber button. We might do a giveaway at 1,000 subs. I want to do that, so it's not a promise, but we'll confirm that in a little bit as we get closer. But yeah, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya.